Going live in just a second here. All right, we are live. Welcome back to WMMA Now with your host, Chuck Stevenson, and welcome to episode number 110 of the WMMA Report, regular, almost weekly show going over everything in the world of the women's divisions of mixed martial arts news, fight reviews, previews, fight announcements, you name it. We're going to talk a little bit about it. Tonight, don't have it up on the cover picture, but we are going to talk somewhat about Aspen Ladd missing weight today, really bad, again. We also got a lot of new, really big news this past week. So we're going to spend a little bit more time in the news segment tonight. But first, let's go ahead and get started where we always do. With the fight results from this past weekend. Before I get into that, please remember to like the video. Helps get the drive attention to the stream as it's live. Also, if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. And there is a link in the description, I believe, well, I'll get to that in a minute, a little bit. But first up, let's get down into the fight results from this past weekend. So first up, on Friday, we had one championship revolution, had one ladies bout. Victoria Lee defeated Victoria Souza via TKO due to grounded strikes in the second round. Victoria Lee, the younger sister of Angela and Christian Lee, the favorites over there at one championship, continued on to 3-0, defeating, at least on paper, her best opponent to date. Victoria Souza came in at 5-0. Like I said on the weekend recap, I thought Souza was looking to be the technically better fighter. It's just that Lee was bigger and stronger. Then also was supposed to be on Friday night at LFA. We're supposed to have Catherine Poprocki versus Hillary Rose, excuse me, in the strawweight division. Unfortunately, Hillary Rose missed weight and developed severe abdominal pains afterwards, went to the hospital, and it turns out that she had an ovarian cyst burst. Whether or not that actually affected the weight cut or not, I'm guessing that that was actually affected by the weight cut. Don't know. But best wishes to Hillary Rose on a speedy recovery. Then on, Saturday, Brave 54 went down in Poland. I believe that was their first time having an event in Poland. Strawweight bout, Evelina Wozniak defeated Salmon Bake via TKO. Evelina Wozniak, I think she's only suffered like one loss in 6 or 7 fights. She's definitely a prospect to keep an eye on at strawweight. Then also on Saturday in England, had a ladies bout at Almighty FC, I believe number 10. Lanchana Green defeated Jade Barker via first round TKO. You may or may not remember Lanchana Green was on the Ultimate Fighter season, I want to say 23. The second season that featured strawweights. It was like half strawweights, half light heavyweights. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to feature this bout. But also, this is one of the very few ladies bouts that has occurred over in the UK since before COVID. Don't know what's going on with the fight scene over there, but the local promotions just have not been putting on as many ladies bouts lately. Cage Warriors has 3 events this weekend alone and 0 ladies bouts. So it's good that even a much smaller promotion like Almighty excuse me, I'm sorry, is at least putting on the ladies' bout. So congrats to the Ultimate Fighter veteran Lanchana Green. Then on Saturday, we also had UFC, 266? What was it last weekend? Come on. Yep, UFC 266 had 3 ladies' bouts. First up, Tyler Santos defeated Roxanne Ferry via unanimous decision. Tyler Santos passing a big test for her in Roxanne Ferry and did it very well. Picked Roxanne apart on the feet from the outside. Every time she'd close down and take her down, just outworked her on the ground. I mean, really nice control from Santos, and was doing some good ground and pound as well. Roxanne almost latched on an armbar in, I believe, the first round, but Santos made the right adjustments to overcome that. And just, I mean, like I said, Roxanne Ferry was a big test for her compared to Santos's previous opponents, and Santos passed with an A+ score. Also, I think this was on the main card or the prelims. I can't remember. But anyway, Jessica Andrade defeated Cynthia Calvillo at flyweight bout via first round TKO. Tell you what, Jessica Andrade, she knows exactly how to use her strengths to her strength. Her biggest strength is her strength, should say. To quote someone, like somewhat quoting them, but she knows exactly how to use her strength to maximum effectiveness. She moves forward aggressively, backs her opponent up, chops the leg. When she gets him to the cage, starts unloading to the body, and then unloading to the head as well. Calvillo just had nothing for her. I mean, didn't even try to take the fight to the ground, which I think was the biggest mistake. Not that Andrade gave her very many chances, but, I said this on Sunday. Calvillo, she just has it in her head that she's a striker now, and she needs to go back to the drawing board and rediscover her grappling, which is definitely her best tools. Then in the co-main event, the flyweight championship, Valentina Shepchenko just proved why she is the absolute best women's flyweight on the planet by a country mile, defeating Lauren Murphy via fourth round TKO. Finished Lauren Murphy in the fourth, caught her with a right hand, which, almost knocked Murphy completely over, but she caught herself, stood back up, but as she was coming back up, Shevchenko caught her with the left high kick, I think it was the left, and started backing Murphy up, and was just backing Murphy up with punches to the cage, and once she got Murphy to the cage, she finished there with some nice volume striking. But before that, it was just all Valentina Shevchenko. Murphy's biggest moment, I think, came in the second round. She kind of stuffed Shevchenko's first takedown attempt and got it to the cage and managed to get control in a clinch there for a little bit. But, I mean, that was by far Murphy's best point in the fight. So, just really threw very little. I liked what she said in her Instagram post after. It's hard to do something when every time you do anything, you're getting hit back right away. Really described Valentina's counter style. As soon as you move, you're getting struck. Very humble in defeat. And, like I said, Valentina Shevchenko, best in that division in the world by a country mile. And we got to talk about Bellator. So Bellator happened today. I was supposed to preview these last night. My apologies for that. I came home, ate dinner, passed out, and didn't wake up till like midnight. So didn't get to preview the Bellator fights tonight. But Kiara Penko defeated Katarina Delica via submission due to armbar in the very first round. Very nice submission there for Kiara Penko. Then in the second flyweight bout, Elena Calianado defeated Petra Chaskova via submission due to heel hook in the first round. Nice win there for Elena Calianado. She was, winless across 4 fights in Bellator. Like, she never fought in Bellator consistently. They'd call her up whenever they were in Europe, and every time she came into Bellator, she lost. She was supposed to fight a different opponent, and as Petra Chaskova came in at the very last moment, didn't even know this fight was happening until yesterday, that Petra had replaced Penko's previous opponent, but hadn't been submitted before this. So Calianado, very nice win there for her. First Bellator win, and first person to submit Petra Chaskova. Then in the co-main event, Leah McCourt defeated Jessica Borga in a featherweight bout. Fairly lackluster bout. good first round, pretty fun, some back and forth action. And then McCourt just kind of took over in her striking in the second and third round, but nothing to really write home about. So I think it was like 30-27 on one score and then 29-28 on two other judges' scores for McCourt. This is kind of supposed to be like a showcase fight for her. I mean, she's from Northern Ireland, and the fight was in London, so, it was on the British Isles. And they gave her an unranked opponent, even though she is now ranked. Or Borga might be at like number 10. Might. And this is supposed to be like a showcase fight for McCourt. And to me, it just did not. She just didn't perform up to what she should have with this one. Just a lot of work needs to be done over there at, I think she's with SBG Ireland. A lot of work needs to be done on Leah McCourt. So that is it for the past week's review. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chat real quick. So as Akita says, Aspen Ladd needs a dietitian to help her lose weight. She actually had one for this camp. She had one. She isn't even the biggest bantamweight. If GDR and Hawley can make weight, so can Ladd. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely taller than her, but, frames are built differently. Perez in the chat says Calvillo's performance has been dropping. Yeah, I mean, the more she falls in love with her striking, she's not doing so good. I mean, she's got to find, her inner wrestler again. Also says Murphy had no chance, and I agree wholeheartedly. Says Akita says Calvillo is getting old. 34 in WMMA is not good unless you're a super skilled fighter like Shepchenko or Nunes. I've seen, fighters well into their 30s do well, but the fact that she got a late start in MMA doesn't particularly bode well for her. I mean, she's still a top 10 fighter in 2 different divisions, so did pretty good for having such a late start, but I don't see her surpassing the level that she's at unless she starts playing to her strengths better. And then Zazakita also says that Penko pleasantly surprised him. I had pegged her to win, just didn't expect her to do it in the first round. So that is it for the past week's results. So let's get into the news. There's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about. So the first thing in the news I want to talk about was, so first up, I think we all saw, I made a video about it. You might have seen it. Sahi Ham is out of the One Championship Atomweight Grand Prix due to an injury. Apparently she fractured a finger, means she is out for later this month. The event for the semifinals is scheduled for, I believe, the 29th. So she is out of the Grand Prix, unfortunately. So that means that Julie Meza Barba, who was the winner of the alternate bout between herself and Mei Yamaguchi, moves into her spot. I did see some people upset that they thought it should have been Denice Zamboanga, but that's just not how the tournaments work. You have a reserve bout, so that way in case someone gets hurt, then the reservist moves in. So good call there by One Championship. She will now face Stamp Fairtex. To me, I think that is a battle, and it was with Ham too, but it's still a battle of the 2 more well-rounded fighters in the division, whereas Itsuki versus Ritu is more, 2 one-dimensional fighters facing off, whereas this is the more dynamic, more complete fight here between Julie Meza Barba and Stamp Fairtex. So, I mean, it sucks for Sahi Ham. I also mentioned that apparently One Championship is targeting a rematch for Ham and Zamboanga at 1X in December. That's if Ham can, recover in time. I mean, she said probably be out for like 2 months because of the finger, but who knows? I mean, maybe it was just a minor fracture. She'll be able to heal up in time for that. Don't know. But as far as I know, that fight is not quite official yet. It is just being targeted, so we'll see. Then let's see. What else? Oh, Open FC 11 goes down November 4th in St. Petersburg, Russia, having a bantamweight championship bout. I believe it's an inaugural bantamweight championship. Daria Zeleznyakova coming in at 5-0, undefeated, taking on the also undefeated Marisa Locke, coming in at 6-0. So 2 undefeated fighters facing off for an inaugural title at Open FC number 11. Then Octagon Prime 4, put on by the Octagon promotion, goes down November 6th in the Czech Republic. A bantamweight bout. Marta Valacek coming in at 5-3. She's taking on the always fun, always exciting Lucia Pudilova coming in at 11-7. Pudilova coming off a loss in her last bout to, what was the lady's name? Brazilian fighter, also a UFC veteran, but not a very fun fight. I do remember that much. Ah, shit. Is this frozen? What the fuck? Are we back? How bad was the freeze? Was it buffering? My apologies. My computer is acting up again. But my screen was frozen for a little bit. So, where was I? So back to the news. That was Octagon Prime 4. That goes down November 6th in the Czech Republic. Marta Valacek taking on Lucia Pudilova at bantamweight. Moving along, KSW 64 goes down later this month, October 23rd in Poland. And they booked a strawweight bout. Karolina Ovčarz coming in at 4-1, taking on Silvia Juskovic, coming in at 9-6. And then, let's see. That should be a good one. Tell you what, Karolina Ovčarz is definitely a fighter to keep an eye on there at strawweight. A lot of good fighters in Karolina coming out of Poland. And then Hexagon MMA 2 going down October 30th in France, I believe in Paris again. Have a bantamweight bout. Ernesta Karakate coming in at 2-0, taking on Letitia Blutt, also undefeated at 2-0. Hexagon is, I believe, France's first native MMA promotion. So best of luck to them. And then this was an interesting one to me. So Marina Moroz is out of her bout with Luanna Carolina at the UFC Fight Night scheduled in 2 weeks from now, October 16th. And Sijara Eubanks has replaced her. And if you're like me, you're probably thinking, oh, here we go. Marina Moroz dropping out of a fight again. But here's the interesting bit. Let me pull up her IG real quick here. Oh, man, why is it? Because she made a post, I believe this was yesterday, working on the heavy bag. It says, I am healthy and continue to prepare for the fight. I don't care who my opponent will be. I just want to fight. And someone asked her in Russian, and I saw about, why she was out of the fight. And someone showed me a translation. Apparently, she said that she received a phone call from the UFC that the fight is off, and she doesn't actually know what's going on. And my screen is frozen, so I'm going to have to kind of wing this here because I don't know if it's recording or not. Okay, so how's that going now? So it looks like I lost my audience. That's great. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on with my computer. Still trying to work on it, but I guess you get to look at my fat chin at the moment till I can get this up. So we're going to continue with the news here. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with Sijara Eubanks and Marina Moroz, or why the UFC moved Marina Moroz out of the fight, what their reasons would be for doing that. But apparently they did. So we'll just have to see. So anyway, moving on. UFC has a fight night scheduled for November 20th. They added a strawweight bout. Jessica Penny coming in at 14-5, taking on Luanna Pinero at 9-1. Yes, Zezakita, it is a nice flattering angle. I'm gonna try. Oh, hold on a second here. No. All right, that's better. Get rid of that echo. Piece of junk. Okay. All right, so we're good. All right, back to the news. I apologize, guys. I don't know what's going on with the recording tonight. So continuing on with the news. Jessica Penny versus Luanna Pinero. Basically, you would think that with how good Pinero has looked so far, that this would be a really hard one for Penny. But I don't know. Something about the way Pinero reacted when she got up kicked. She was winning that fight against Randa Marcos, and then she ate that up kick. And it's like as soon as she faced the slightest bit of, difficulty, she wanted out right away. The way she acted seemed like she really wanted out at that moment. Like the way she reacted to that up kick. I mean, yeah, she ate a good up kick, but I mean, I've seen fighters, recover better than that from that and continue on. The way she acted about it, it reminded me a lot of like Aljamain Sterling's overacting, and just showed me that Pinero might have a little bit of front runner syndrome going on. So I might have to favor Penny in that fight. I'm not sure though. We'll see. Anyway, keep going. UFC Fight Night scheduled for December 18th. They added a bantamweight bout. Raquel Pennington, 12-8, taking on Julia Avila, coming in at 9-2. That's a really good one for the bantamweight division. I mean, we all know how Julia Avila does. She comes out rocketing forward early on in the fights, whereas Pennington is the exact type of style that will slow Avila down. Just a really good challenging battle for Avila. Also a really good chance for her to really break into the top 10, because I think Pennington has moved up to number 10 already. So if Avila can beat her, she can really move up into the rankings and start making some waves within that bantamweight division. And then, the fight between Ketlin Vieira and Miesha Tate that was supposed to headline, I want to say, sometime later this month. That Tate got COVID and had to they had to reschedule it. It has been rescheduled. It is now going to headline the fight night on November 20th. So we got Ketlin Vieira versus Miesha Tate now on for November 20th. Still a very good bantamweight bout. Should be going to have a lot of repercussions within the top 10 of the bantamweight division, I think. And one of the big news out of this week is that PFL, Professional Fighters League, has signed former Bellator featherweight champion Julia the Jewel Budd. And she is going to be taking on Caitlin Young on October 27th at the World Championship event. And I believe that's a prelim bout in the lightweight division. So you got two former featherweights now going to be moving into, Caitlin Young already did move up, but Julia Budd's going to be moving up to lightweight to try her test the waters in the PFL. You know, she had said that when her contract ran out with Bellator that she was, going to test the free agency water. And I figured she would just go straight back to Bellator. I talked about the options at the time. I think PFL was one of them. I know Bellator, re-signing with Bellator was the most likely option. UFC was a possibility, but I didn't see them paying her exactly what she wanted. And PFL was another option, but it was going to depend on the money and, what her chances were in the tournament and whatnot. And I didn't know if she would just be willing to sit out for that long. Well, apparently we have our answer. She's not going to have to sit out for very long because she signed with the PFL and they got her booked in a bout already. And of course, she'll automatically be slated into the tournament for next year for the regular season. So we're looking forward to Julia Budd versus Caitlin Young and looking forward to seeing how Budd does at lightweight, particularly once the next season starts sometime next year. So it should be a good one. Then, we have a title bout coming up. So Shudo 2021 Volume 7 goes down November 6th in Tokyo. Mina Karobi, who coming in at 16-5, will defend her super atomweight title for the first time against Satomi Sarami Takano, coming in at 15-12. So Karobi won that title last year as part of a tournament to crown Shudo's first super atomweight champion at 110 pounds, which is 50 kilograms. And Karobi won. She was the most experienced fighter in that tournament. And so no surprise, really, that she won. And taken a while because of, COVID and whatnot. But she is now going to defend that title for the first time against a fellow very experienced veteran in Sarami, Satomi Takano. So it should make for a good one. We'll be keeping an eye out on that fight. And then, unfortunate news, Sarah Alpar has been released by the UFC. Not a surprise, really. I mean, she just is not doing well at all in the UFC. And then, not to discredit Erin Blanchfield, but she just got absolutely obliterated. Just the absolute definition of domination in that fight against Erin Blanchfield. Just did not look good for Alpar at all. She just had nothing going on in that fight. So not surprised they cut her. And then the final piece of news I was able to add earlier today. I did see a few more items, but we'll save them for next week. Ryzen 31 goes down October 24th, and they added a super atomweight bout. Kana Asakura coming in at 18-5, taking on Saori Oshima coming in at 6-2. Let me see if I can find that one real quick. There we go. First one. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Try to bring this over. One second here. 1 second, guys. Okay. How do I expand this? I just want to bring this picture up real quick. All right, Kana Sakura taking on Saori Oshima. So if you're not familiar with Oshima, she is a two-weight champion in jewels, or in deep and deep jewels. She is the deep microweight 97-pound champion and the deep jewels atomweight champion at 105 pounds. Kana Sakura, you're probably a little bit more familiar with. She's been fighting in Ryzen for most of her career at this point. Huge experience factor in Kana Sakura's favor. Was it 18? So like what, 23 fights to only 8 for Oshima. Big size advantage too. I think she's like 5'2" to Oshima's 4'11". So you're going to have a size difference there as well. So big experience and size advantage to Asakura. Oshima's only a few years older than Asakura. But, you know, I don't particularly love this fight. I don't entirely hate it either, though, because, you know, Oshima's going to be smaller, but I'll tell you what, she is absolutely tenacious if the fight goes to the ground. And she is a finisher through and through. Serious killer instinct, even more than Asakura. I mean, I predict Asakura will win this one, but I think Oshima will give her, you know, as good of a fight as she can possibly give. So not a huge fan of this one, but I'm still excited for it. I woke up for this one for the press conference the other night, and I was thinking to myself, no Reina fight announcement, and we riot. And then they really threw me off when Oshima entered the press conference, and she had both of her belts on her shoulders. I was like, what's Saori Oshima doing there? And then Kana Sakura came out and was like, ooh, okay, I'm not going to riot over the lack of Reina, but I was very interested. They got me interested in this one, not going to lie. So that should be a fun one. And that goes down later this month on the 24th. So, and they just announced it like 2 nights ago. So that is it for the news for this week. Let's get down into, let's move over into the rankings update here. Only real updates are to the the UFC bantamweight ranking, or flyweight ranking. Tala Santos moved up 3 spots. She is now sitting at number 9. Roxanne Modafferi's old spot. Modafferi moved down 2 spots to number 11. Modafferi moving down to 11 moved Andrea Lee down to number 12. So, you know, those all make sense. I mean, Santos beating number 9 Modafferi, that's 3 spots is a reasonable jump. Like, it's reasonable. Keeping Grasso, who is on like a 2-fight run, at number 10 is fair. So moving Modafferi down 2 spots to 11 is fine. And moving Lee down a spot is fine as well. So not bad for rankings updates here. Now, usually you get some absolute garbage as far as the UFC rankings updates, but this one's not bad. Let's see. So let's go to the chat real quick. Perez says, I don't know how Moreau still has a job with the UFC. Yeah, it's getting interesting. I will agree. Zezakita says, personally, I think Penny lost against Loopy. Yeah, I think it was pretty even. A lot of people saw that. Zazakita says, I think she saw Aljo get the win, so she tried to get a free win. I don't think she has front runner syndrome. I think she just tried to cheese a free win, but that didn't go to her plan. Well, I think she got the win, though. Yeah. He's referring to Luanna Pinero, who got upkicked illegally by Randa Marcos. And yeah, she actually got the win from that, if I remember correctly. Let me check real quick. So yeah, that was deemed a disqualification for Randa Marcos, giving Pinero the win. But she did not look good with that. I mean, it was the whole way she reacted and was acting afterwards. Just, I think she was putting on a bit of a show. Perez says, looking at Moreau's Instagram, she's not posted anything about being removed. So she didn't mention being removed expressly. But if you look at, I'll bring up the post real quick here. I'll try to. So you go to her Instagram. You go to this one here with the heavy bag, the video of her hitting the heavy bag. And it says, and this was the exact day that the change in the fight was announced. And she says, I am healthy and continue to prepare for the fight. I don't care who my opponent will be. I just want to fight. And I believe this is the person that was asking if she was injured or something. And she responded that the UFC called her and told her the fight was off. Like, I think it was somewhere on like Reddit, like either the MMA or WMMA subreddit translated it. Maybe this was it. No, that's not it. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Zazakita says, I just want to see Julia Budd versus Harrison. Don't care about any other lightweight bout. Yeah, so now that Julia Budd is in the PFL, that's like the next fight to make for Kayla Harrison is Harrison versus Budd. And there isn't really any other fight that matters. I mean, obviously, Harrison, the big question will be, will Kayla Harrison stay with the PFL after this season? Because I think she's on her way out. And if she's on her way out, then Julia Budd is on her way to another championship, possibly. Possibly. Zazakita says, I want Reina news from Ryzen. I treat that Reina is probably retired. So she says she wants to do like 3 more fights. And she wants one of them to be against Ayaka Hamasaki. So I don't, I fear she's retired. I don't know what they're taking so long to book her. I remember one time they tried to earlier this year, and the opponent they asked just refused to fight her. So I don't know. And said, I thought it was a no decision. I guess I remember. Yeah, no, it was a yeah, it's counted as a loss for Marcos on Tapology. So we'll see. Jessica says, this is the layup for Kana. Kana is by far the second best WMMA fighter in Ryzen. Kana should win decisively. Anything less is pretty embarrassing. I won't say it's embarrassing. I mean, yeah, like I said, Oshima's a smaller fighter. She's less experienced. But she is absolutely ferocious. And she will go for the finish at all times. So I wouldn't say it would be embarrassing. I'd say it's definitely a big upset. Anyway, that's it for the rankings update for this week. But let's move into the weekend preview. So this is supposed to be going on right now. Game Bread number 2. So I might have already missed the endings of these fights, but Andy Nguyen's taking on Crystal Lawson. And then Isis Verbeek is taking on, I want to say, Monica Medina. That's at Gamebred. That is the Gamebred number 2. That's the bare knuckle MMA that's being run by Jorge Masvidal, along with, BKFC. So I'm not going to go into those ones. I couldn't even find the stats on them. So Saturday we have AFL 25 over in Spain. I think you'll be able to find this one on Fight TV. But we have an atomweight bout. Emily Mata defending her title against Andrea Meneses. Mata coming in 2-0. Meneses coming in at 1-0. So both very inexperienced fighters. Mata won the title last year at the AFL All-Ladies event Valkyries that I covered. So I wanted to give a little coverage to this fight as well. But the Brazilian champion obviously has one more fight over her Spanish challenger. Don't have any other statistics from Mata, but this, according to Tepology, Andrea Meneses is 24 years old. So that's all I really can tell you about these two. I somewhat remember them both fighting at that event, but not entirely. So we'll have to see. But it's an atomweight title bout, so I wanted to bring some attention to it. Then on Saturday, this is Saturday as well, Nakao Cyborg number 10. That is the event run in association with Chris Cyborg. Like, I don't know if she actually runs it or if she's just like the figurehead for it, kind of like Gamebred. I'm not sure, but this is Nakao Cyborg number 10. Has 3 ladies title bouts. First up is a bantamweight bout. Tana Lemonier taking on Claudia Leite for the vacant bantamweight title. Lemonier coming in at 4-2. Leite coming in at 6-2. Lemonier coming off a win via triangle choke submission 3 months ago, but before that had dropped a couple of losses. Claudia Leite coming in with 3 wins to her credit. Last fought just under 2 months ago, picking up a decision at Nakao Cyborg number 10. They are the same age, 24 years old. Leite looks to be slightly taller, 5 feet 6 inches, 167 centimeters, to Tana's 5 feet 5 inches, 165 centimeters. I've never seen either of these two ladies fight, so I really couldn't tell you who has the better chance of winning. So I'm going to skip a pick on this one. Then we move to the co-main event, vacant strawweight championship. Nicole Cagliari coming in at 4-2, taking on Mayara Thays. Is this a change in opponent? This is a change in opponent. Okay. So this picture is now outdated. Cagliari, the blonde, is in, but is now taking on Mayara Thays, who is not the fighter pictured here. Cagliari coming in at 4-2. Thays coming in at 3-2. Both fighters coming in off of a loss. Cagliari last fought just under 2 years ago, losing to Kate Hansen in Invicta via submission. Thays coming in off a loss almost 3 years ago. Wow. Down there in Brazil. Thays is slightly older, 28 years to 24 for Cagliari. Thays is 1 inch taller, 5 feet 4 inch, 163 centimeters to Cagliari's 5 feet 3 inch, 160 centimeter. So I was a little prepared to go into this bout a little more, but just now seeing a last minute change of opponent has completely thrown me off. So I'm going to go with Nicole Cagliari, the good-looking blonde there, to win this one. Just because I've seen her fight, whereas this Mayara Thays, I haven't. So I can't really tell you anything about her. Boy, that one just threw me for a loop. Then up at the main event, vacant Atomweight Championship. And this one changed too now. Yeah, so this was supposed to be Eleni Perez taking on Maria Ribeiro in a title fight defense. And this one just changed last minute. Now it is the vacant Atomweight Championship. A fighter named Alessandra Fajeda is now taking on Maria Ribeiro. So Fajeda is on the right-hand side of the picture. She's now taking on newcomer Maria Ribeiro, fighter nicknamed Wonder Woman. Fajeda coming in at 3-1. Ribeiro coming in at 5-3. Fajeda was coming in off of a win at a Nakao Cyborg event 3 months ago, preceded by a loss a year ago. Maria Ribeiro is coming in off of 2 straight losses. Last fought for Brave Combat Federation, dropping a split decision to Karolina Wojcik a year and 10 months ago. Ribeiro is the elder fighter, 29 to Fajeda's 23. Also stands taller at 5 feet 4 inch, 163 centimeters to Fajeda's 5 feet 1 inch, 154 centimeters. So again, I guess we'll go with Alessandra Fajeda just because she was actually prepared for this fight. But man, this is like 2 last-minute changes. I mean, I just checked these like a day or 2 ago, and they hadn't changed yet. So Topology's really wanting to mess with me this week. So that's it for Nakao Cyborg number 10. So moving on into the final event of the weekend. UFC Fight Night, Santos versus Walker. Supposed to have 4 ladies bouts. We are now down to 3. First up, a bantamweight bout between Shanna Young and Stephanie Egger. Young coming in at 7-3. The Shanimal. Egger coming in at 5-2. Both fighties coming in off of losses in their UFC debuts. Shanna Young to Macy Chiasson a year and a half ago. Egger to drop the decision to Tracy Cortez 11 months ago. Egger's the elder fighter by 3 years, 33 to 30 for Young. Young is slightly taller, 5 feet 7 inch, 170 centimeters to Egger's 5 feet 6 inch, 168 centimeters. However, the reach is very different. 68 inches, 173 centimeters in favor of Egger to 65 inches, 165 centimeters for Shanna Young. So I don't know if Egger just knows how to use her reach better or if Young just has like unusually small arms. We'll have to see. This is a fight between 2 very entry-level UFC fighters. I'm chalking up the win to whoever has the least brain farts. I'm going with Shanna Young here, but that's just a wild guess. Egger has a decent ground game. She's a judoka. Young, I can't really remember what she does well. She's more of a wrestler, I guess. But I'm going to go with Shanna Young to win this one. Then we have a much more exciting bout I think a lot more people are looking forward to. Do I have the... Yeah, okay. Sorry, this is a little out of order. But another flyweight bout, we're moving down to flyweight. For Antonina Shepchenko taking on Casey O'Neill. La Pantera coming in at 9-3. King Casey coming in at 7-0. Now, Shepchenko is on a bit of a random Marcos pattern with her record, alternating wins and losses. Most recently coming off a loss to Andrea Levy, a submission 4 months ago. Before that, had a TKO ground and pound win over Ariana Lipsky 10 months ago. King Casey coming in undefeated. has fought Shanna Dobson, beat her via TKO due to ground and pound, and then defeated Lara Procopio due to a standing rear naked choke submission in the UFC. That was 3 months ago. Let's see. Youth definitely favors Casey O'Neill here. She is 23 years old to the 13 years older Shepchenko at 36. However, Shepchenko is the taller fighter, 5 feet 8 inches, 172 centimeters, to O'Neill's 5 feet 6 inch, 168 centimeters. But the reach is reversed. 69 inch, 175 centimeters for O'Neill to 68 inch, 173 centimeters for La Pantera. You know, this is definitely a case of, or Shepchenko is definitely a case of the younger sister got everything in this combo. I mean, Antonina's the elder sister, but the younger sister, Valentina, definitely got all the athletic talent. She got all the skills. She got the fight sense, the fight IQ. I mean, Shevchenko's not a bad fighter. It's just, man, you can't help but compare her to her older sister or her younger sister and go, wow. The younger sister definitely, received all the advantages. Maybe just because she was able to learn from her older sister's mistakes. I don't know. But I feel like if this stays on the feet, Shevchenko should have an okay night. The ground game, it's going to depend on who gets the takedown here. Is it going to be Shevchenko or is it going to be O'Neill? Because both have good top games. Neither of them want to be taken down by the other, though, because neither of them are very good off their backs. And neither of them want to be underneath of the other fighter who has the strong top game. Both of them, like I said, have a strong top game. My gut wants to go with O'Neill, but I'm going to listen to my head and roll with the experience here and go with Antonina Shevchenko to win this one. Then we move to a bantamweight bout. Carol Hossa taking on Betch Correia. Unfortunately, Betch Correia missed weight as well, but this fight's going on. She didn't look bad on the scale or anything, and Hossa didn't mind that she missed, so she collected her 20% from Correia, and this bout is going to go on. So Carol Hossa coming in at 14-3, taking on Betch Correia coming in at 11-5-1. Hossa hasn't lost in quite a while. Hasn't lost since 2018. She's on a 5-fight winning streak, including 3 fights in the UFC. Betch Correia is on the downside of her career. There's no nicer way to put it. I mean, she's coming off a loss to Pannie Kianzad a year ago, preceded by a win over Sijara Eubanks 2 years ago. But before that, she had 2 straight losses, preceded by a draw. Like I said, she's just on this is her retirement fight, so she is definitely on her way out. Betch is the elder fighter by 12 years, 38-26, so youth favors Carol Hossa. They are the same height, 5 feet 5 inch, 165 centimeters. However, Carol Hossa brings in a good reach advantage, 67.5 inch, 171 centimeters, to Betch's 64 inch, 163 centimeters. This is Carol Hossa all the way. As soon as they made this fight, I said, wow, they did not give Betch an easy one for her retirement bout. She was supposed to face Wu Yanan. Wu Yanan was at least a winnable fight for Betch. Carol Hossa is not going to be a winnable fight for Betch Correia. So barring a freak accident, an injury, or just Hossa dropping her guard and taking a flush one to the chin real hard, Betch Correia is retiring on another loss. And she missed weight. I'm not even that mad at her missing weight because what's it going to matter? She's retiring. I'm more mad at the fact that because she missed weight, she lost out on 25% of the money that was going to go into her retirement fund. Like, I'm more mad at her for screwing herself out of retirement money than I am for actually missing weight. So it's such a Betch Correia thing to do. I'll tell you what, I will miss Betch Kohea when she's gone. Win or lose, or even draw, because she drew against Marion Renaud, Betch Kohea is entertaining. Like, she's going to go out there and be Betch Kohea. And it's never necessarily boring. I mean, and it's not like, even in a lot of some of her losses, she was still doing good. I mean, when she fought Holly Holm, she was doing good in that fight. I mean, she was losing, but she was still doing all right in that fight. And then she just got stupid, pulled a Betch Kohea type move, said, come on, hit me with your best shot, and got Ronda, got head kicked. So it was an entertaining fight. So I'm going to miss Betch Kohea because she was always entertaining. Also, Betch Kohea is part of a dying breed. You still get occasionally these fighters in the women's divisions that, you know, they walk into a gym because they want to get into shape. Well, they don't have Zumba classes, or they don't have CrossFit or whatever. They walked into the wrong gym. It ends up being a fight gym. They end up trying it because they're trying to get into shape. And then they find they like it, and then they decide to give fighting a try. Betch Kohea is a perfect example of the heights that you used to be able to reach at that level. Like, from no experience whatsoever to fighting and challenging for a UFC title. I mean, she reached the epitome of exactly what that type of fighter that off the street, no experience, trying to get in shape, and then ends up liking it and wanting to fight. She is the top level of those type of fighters, but she is part of a dying breed now. You're getting very, very few of those anymore, and you're getting more and more younger fighters that have trained in martial arts all their life, or start at a much younger age and take up mixed martial arts. So Betch is like I said, she's a dying breed. She started MMA. I mean, she's 38 years old. She turned pro by the way, never had an amateur career. Started in 2012, so 9 years. So she started at like what, 20, 28, 29, which is late to be starting in mixed martial arts. It's late to be starting as a fighter when you have no prior experience whatsoever. So she started late, was an incidental fighter, and made it all the way into the UFC, and even got to fight for a title. Now, she mostly talked her way into that title by beating two of Ronda Rousey's, the four horsewomen, or the four horse faces, whatever you prefer to call them, and kind of like trash talked her way into that fight. But still, she made it. She made it to the top of the division, just fell short once she got there, and didn't do so well after that because, well, she just wasn't that good. So after the loss to Rousey, which was her first, she then lost to Raquel Pennington, beat Jessica Eye via split decision, drew with Marion Renaud, lost to Holly Holm and Irene Aldana, beat Sijara Eubanks, who, let's be honest here, she had no business beating Sijara Eubanks, but she beat her. And then lost a decision to Pannie Kianzad. And then she was supposed to fight Wu Yanan, and that fight fell through, and now she's fighting Carol Hosa. So, salute to Betch Kohea. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'll miss her. And I'm not even being ironic in that. I will genuinely miss watching her fight. So, we're supposed to have a bantamweight bout between Aspen Ladd and Macy Chiasson. Aspen Ladd is like what? Let me check the rankings here real quick. Let's check the rankings. I just want to see what rankings they are right now. Ladd is the number 3 ranked bantamweight, and Chasson is down there at number 11. So a big, what's supposed to be a big step up for Macy Chasson, and a tough comeback for Aspen Ladd, who's coming off of ACL surgery. But of course, we all know by now, Aspen Ladd missed weight for this bout, weighed in at 137, and was visibly shaking on the scale. But she weighed in at 137, which is 1 pound over the absolute weight limit for the bantamweight division of 136. Did not look good. I mean, just absolutely much too weak. She released a couple different statements. This is the one she released on Instagram. It said, "Fight is off again. All my fault. Straight up started my period 2 days back and made this cut absolutely miserable. Did the best I could. Hit 137. The scale situation was a mess because the last thing I wanted was to bleed in front of the media. That's not why she was shaken. The fight wasn't pulled. My opponent then decided she would rather not go through with it, as is her right. I'm going to get slammed regardless, so let it begin." And then I just saw this one right before I started the stream. Saw this over on Twitter on her account. Said, "At this point, it sounds like a broken record, but my fight's off. I take complete and full responsibility for not making weight. It's well documented that I've had issues with weight cuts in the past, not just as a female, but in general. There are times where you think that you do everything right, and then Mother Nature comes into play, but bottom line is you've got to prepare for anything and everything. I thought that I had. I wish that I had the knowledge and the experience of seasoned veterans. Yeah, I'm 9-1, 10 fights in my professional career, and it's something that I'm getting better, that I should be better at, but I commit to be better at as I move forward. I make no excuses and apologize to the UFC who has invested so much in me, to the matchmakers, to my opponent, to my fans and supporters, to my family, but most of all to my team, who sacrificed so much for a chance at a win inside of an octagon. For a fight camp that normally lasts 3 months, in this case 5 months, comes down to 1 pound. I can only say I apologize and I have to do better. I'll be better. There are no other options, as I love the sport and I want to continue what I love and be the best. Again, I'm sorry. I will be better." You know, I would feel bad for Aspen Ladd if this wasn't a pattern, but it is a pattern. Like I said, this is, I think, the 3rd or 4th time that she's missed weight at bantamweight, and the 2nd time that the fight was canceled because of her weight cut. Now, the first time was Leslie Smith. Leslie Smith, I think, got her full fight purse and then promptly got released from the UFC. That actually had nothing to do with Aspen Ladd. That was because of her situation. Now, Ladd says that it was Macy that decided to cancel the fight. As of this time, I have not seen anything confirming that. It wouldn't surprise me if it did, because I know Macy was just probably absolutely pissed off. Because Aspen Ladd talked all kinds of crap when this fight was supposed to happen the first time back in June or July. Let me see. When was this fight supposed to happen last time? So this fight was supposed to happen on July 24th, and Macy Chasson dropped out that time because of injury, hurt her foot in camp. This time it's Ladd missing weight. And everything I'm saying says it was because she fell ill due to the weight cut. So who knows? But this is just a history with, like, a pattern with Aspen Ladd. Or at least not a pattern. It is a well-set history that she misses weight. Badly, too. And I remember, let's see, I think it was the GDR fight. This is the GDR fight. Let me check. Yeah, it was against Jermaine Durandamy, where she made weight at 135 exactly, but this was in California, so they checked her weight the next night and deemed that she was had gained something like 30 pounds back overnight. And they were like, listen, that is entirely too much of your body weight percentage to be cutting weight from. And they pulled her license to fight in bantamweight after that. So if Aspen Ladd ever were to go fight in California again, her home state, she wouldn't even be allowed to fight in her chosen weight class. She'd have to move up. And at this point, I got to say, UFC doesn't really have a featherweight division. It's basically you go up, you win a fight, and then you get a title fight against Amanda Nunes. But at this point, I can't see there's no justification for allowing her to continue to try to fight at bantamweight. It's not fair to her opponents at all for her to keep missing weight like this. And I don't even, if Macy Chiasson is the reason why it was canceled, I can't even be mad at her. Because you got fighters, they'll miss weight, and then they come in, they're super heavy the next night, and they're at a full weight advantage to their opponent who made the necessary sacrifices to get to the weight on time. And Chiasson is taller than Ladd, has a bigger reach than Ladd, and just has an all-around bigger frame than Aspen Ladd, and yet she made weight, and Aspen Ladd didn't. This tells me that there is a serious problem with Aspen Ladd's diet and her discipline. And, excuse me. Apparently, she had a dietitian in her camp. And it still didn't work. Now, she's blaming her period, and I believe she's done that at least once before when she missed weight. So again, we have a pattern of her missing weight and then trying to blame her period. Now, is it possible that it is her time of the month and that caused her to miss weight? Yes. But I'm more inclined to believe a fighter who misses weight for the first time and says that than I am to believe someone who has done it on more than one occasion. So for me, it's about Aspen Ladd. It's about her diet, her commitment to being in shape, and discipline. Because to me, it just seems like she is trying to get as bulked up as possible and then cut as much water weight as possible in the shortest amount of time, which is a classic weight cut, but it's the least sensible, and it's more that's going to cause more weight misses than anything. Just trying to lose all that water weight at once. You should be able to get your weight down to within a few pounds of weight and then just cut the last little bit of water weight before a fight. That's the ideal situation. I just don't think Aspen Ladd is doing that. I think she is relying on the old idea of bulk up and then just cut a crap ton of water weight, and it is not working for her. I wouldn't blame any opponent who in the future gets asked to fight her and says, I will not fight her at bantamweight. Because you don't know if she's going to make weight or not. She's just too damn unreliable at this point. So, I hope there's nothing seriously wrong with her. But she can't be making that bantamweight cut anymore. She's going to have to move up to featherweight or something. I mean, I don't necessarily see the UFC cutting her off of this. I mean, they could always use someone more extra up there at featherweight, just to try to line up contenders for Amanda up there. So maybe they'll just tell her to move up to featherweight next time. I don't know. I know if I was a bantamweight and I got scheduled to fight her, I'd be like, no, I can't do it because I can't trust her to make weight. Because when she does that, she's not only breaking the contract that she signs with the UFC, she's breaking a bout agreement with her opponent where they agree to make certain contracted weights, and then she fails to hold up her end of the bargain. I mean, yeah, legally that's grounds for separation. It's grounds for termination of a deal. she's just not living up to her contractual obligations at this point if she's missing weight. So anyway, that's really all I have about Aspen Ladd. I didn't want to talk about, I didn't want to come in here and trash her. Really, I think it just comes down to diet, discipline, stuff like that, and not bulking up so much. Maybe drop some of the muscle and streamline her form more, a little better to make weight. But, anyway, I am absolutely tired because I did not take a nap today. So if anyone has anything in the chat, go ahead and say so. If you have not yet, please hit that like button and share the stream as well. But I will give you a couple moments to say something in the chat. And if not, then we will get going. So we got 7 likes, which is really nice. So thank you to everyone who hit that like button. Doesn't look like anyone has anything in the chat. So in that case, I will go ahead and close. So before I close out, I mentioned this on Sunday night, but I was accepted through my Instagram into the affiliate program with the One Championship official online shop. So I'm wearing my Unstoppable Angela Lee shirt tonight. If you would like to purchase anything, I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying in the future, if you decide to go on One Championship's website and go, oh man, I like that shirt, or yeah, I want an Angela Lee shirt. I have my affiliate link in the description below. You click that link, it takes you to the store, and it will automatically apply a 10% discount for yourself. Or if you decide to go on your own, you can use my coupon code, which is also there in the description below. So give yourself 10% off, and you will give me 10% off as well in the future. Or they can either give me a coupon or give me cash. Whichever I feel like taking. But if you ever decide you want some One Championship merchandise, please use my affiliate link. You get 10% off, and I get something back as well. So anyway, other than that, I am done. So like I said, like the video. Let me know your thoughts. If you're watching in the playback, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.